Hello, hello, and good evening. Welcome back to Me and Epiphany, where we have another episode of Take Me Down a Rabbit Hole. This is episode 21. How are y'all doing this evening? How has your week been? It's been a busy week for me. Been trying to set up another home-based business and then also revamping one that I had been running since last year. So my mind is all boggled, but man, I've been down a lot of rabbit holes this week, but it was mainly dealing with medical issues. And just to kickstart it off, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but I was in one comment section and they were talking about parasites. And my whole algorithm this whole week has literally been about parasites. One was a meme that was showing that I think they said 100% of the autopsies that they did on MS patients, people who had multiple sclerosis, they found parasites in the spinal fluid. And then going along, I saw some other ones that were talking about biopsies. Now, I don't really know too much about biopsies. I don't go to the doctor all that much, but I do know that it's where they take a little piece, they cut you open, probably take a little piece of the tumor so that they can put it under, microscope and analyze it. But all these people in the comments were speaking about how their loved one got a biopsy and then all of a sudden the cancer just began to spread. Hey, y'all. You said, and then the cancer, it just would start spreading. And then next thing you know, the loved one had passed. Unfortunately, I guess as though, almost all of a sudden, but they were pretty much saying that when you cut open those tumors, even just to check them out, then that's when all the toxins and all the parasites get released into the rest of the body. And and then it starts to spread. So I was like, wow. So that's literally been baffled me. Hey, Nope, how are you doing this evening? How was your week? Vlogs, you said don't eat blood and don't eat sushi. Now, I feel like you see the don't eat blood is very common. It's some information that I already know because the Bible talks about how we should not be eating the blood all the time. There's so many different passages about it, but I'm not a big sushi person. I know people love sushi, but I need my food cooked. I don't like the medium rare. I know they make fun of me at restaurants because I like my stuff well done, but wow. And I'm assuming that you're not eating blood, one, because there's life in it, but I'm assuming that this is where the parasites are dwelling. And raw meat and sushi would be the same thing. You said, wow, this is the third time biopsy came up this week. I know, it's like I was saying earlier, it's been all over my algorithm and it's not really something that I look too much into, but of course I'm always in the comment section just to see what people are, saying about the topic. And wow, so many people were speaking against biopsies. Now, a lot of people had questions about, if you don't do a biopsy, how do you know if the tumor is benign or if it's malignant? But pretty much the consensus was you need to be fasting and detoxing anyway. Don't go get cut open, don't go get the biopsies, but we need to be fasting and detoxing anyway. Which is another thing that the Bible talks heavy about, is about fasting. And I guess it's not, how do I say this? There's always fasting in groups. Like if you ever, grew up in the church and things like that, there's always a period where the church, they fast different, times of the year. But I guess I never really thought that much into it. I never thought about the health benefits about fasting, but now I'm reading about all this research and they're saying, listen, this is stuff that you need to be doing at least once a week, if not, once a month, just to allow your body to release all the nasty stuff that we're consuming every day. So I thought that was, again, another scientific fact that was spoken about thousands and thousands of years ago. um, now they're finding the information to back it up. They say mammograms have irregularities, then you will a biopsy. They say cancer can be the breast non-progressive for years, and that's another thing. I'm so glad that you brought mammograms up because I was definitely going to talk about that. One of the things that they tell women to go and you have to get your mammograms. You have to go get checked out, and that's exactly what they're saying. They're saying that these procedures, unless you have a history of breast cancer and things like that in your family, you need to stay away from those mammograms. And again, I'm not trying to give any medical advice. I'm just telling you the things that I was learning about this week and what, doctors were saying. I was like, oh my goodness. So I guess something dealing with the radiation. And unfortunately, radiation is a treatment that a lot of people get, especially when they have cancer. But really, the radiation is designed to kill both the good cells and the bad cells. It just depends on which ones it'll kill them off first. So yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up. So glad you brought that up. You said eating meat is eating blood. And I see that, and I think that's why I mean, I don't feel like I'm a person that could not eat meat. I'm very thin. And so I don't think I could just go on a, vegetable or fruit-based diet. But again, I try to get mine well done because I feel like I can taste the blood and it's weird to me. But I can definitely see that. But there's so many different, there's so many people that do not eat their meat without blood. He said my 73-hour fast starts on the 28th. So how do you like fasting? Do you feel like it does your body good? Do you feel like you feel a change when you're fasting in your body? You said you ran out of your mammogram crying last week. You couldn't do it. I'll be honest. It's not something that I get done. But I hear that they squeeze and press on it real hard to where, yeah, it's very uncomfortable. I thought it was just a simple, I thought it was the doctors grabbing and feeling around in it. I didn't know that a machine did it, to be honest. Wow. You said you always do well done. Yeah, they make fun of me. They say it's beef jerky, but I do not care. Yeah, so I think that you said it helps discipline mental and physical, the body rejuvenates. And that's what I'm hearing. I'm thinking about starting to do it a lot more. I feel like these days my body forces me to fast. Like sometimes I just don't feel like, I don't know if I'm just tired of eating the same thing over and over again, or if maybe what's in the food makes me groggy and not want to eat it. But I feel like I'm being forced to fast these days, which I'm not really mad at. So I think I'm going to start to try to incorporate that since um, a lot of people see the change. You said the machine part set me off smashing with no conscience. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that, but that's funny because that's what these machines are, that's what it's come to. And that's what it's coming to. They have these machines doing everything for us that, like you said, they have no conscience. They don't know, they can't feel pain. They don't know if they've gone too far. So, yeah. So I think I want to do a deep dive on fasting and this parasite thing because like we were saying, it's been coming up so much this week. And with the way that they're doing this food on us, we don't know what we're eating, unfortunately. Yeah. You said it saves money. I bet. I bet. Are there any vegans out there? Because like I said, I do not feel like I could do a vegan diet. Um, and honestly, the only person that I know that is on a vegan diet and looks good is the singer Maya. If y'all know her, I'll pull her up if you don't. Um, she looks great. She's not, she doesn't look like she's malnourished or anything like that. But then you take someone like Ariana Grande, which I hear that she's been a vegan since 2013. And so I don't know if her recent weight loss has anything to do with that, but it doesn't look like there's any correlation. And I'm actually going to put a bikini pic of Maya just so that you can see how she's a healthy looking um, vegan. But a lot of times when they showcase them in front of us, like I said, they look a little bit malnourished. Okay, so this is the singer Maya. If it'll allow me to put it on the screen. Okay, it's this thing is acting up today. You said, I believe you can routinely treat your breast, cervix, and colon against cancer. Well, unfortunately, they say that the only way, make it seem like the only way that it can be done is with vaccines, which I don't know. I'm just worried that a lot of the things that they've been telling us all these years have been to harm us and not to help us. Cause I'm sorry, fellas, if you guys are in here right now. But even the whole pap smear thing, I'm hearing a lady say, "Oh, you have to wait such and such amount of weeks after you get your pap smear done, or else you'll start developing little cysts on your cervix." I'm like, well, dang, when were they going to tell anybody that? When were they? When were they going to say anything? So this is Maya's. Like she doesn't. She's still thick. And so she's doing it well, but again, I don't know if that's something that everybody can do. What's a pap smear? So pretty much what they do is they scrape your cervix and take those cells that they collect and put it underneath the microscope to make sure that you don't have any diseases. However, get off the. There we go. The audio should fix. Yeah. Yeah, I know, I know. Chronic yeast infection will alter PAP results. And and that's another thing, even the feminine products and stuff that they give us have been infected, so to speak. So again, what can you do? What can you do? But yeah, that's a topic that I want to do a deep dive into. Okay, thank you. But yeah, so that was the big thing on my plate. The big thing on my plate this week. Have y'all been? What's new? Yeah, a lot of it. A lot of people talk about turmeric powder to do detoxes. I don't know. I have to get a list of stuff and bring it to you guys. Again, not to teach medical information because I'm just learning about this stuff myself. But I don't know. I just feel like we got to do something because medical establishments are just there to make money. Most of them. Yeah. Still looking for the recommendations. Like I said, I'm still trying to find out where I can view this stuff at. I'm telling you, I'm a little bit more scared to watch this Substance movie. I'm still scared about it. Because one post was asking kind of what's the most disturbing movie that you've seen to where you wouldn't want to watch it again, and a lot of people were saying the Substance. I was like, oh my goodness. I might have to just download it. Let me see where I can. Yeah, because all they're saying is Apple TV and movie. Where did you watch the Substance at? Because I don't have anything Apple, and I don't know about movie. Yeah, let me know where you watched it, and I'll check it out. Maybe even here tonight. I'll probably go to sleep a little later. You said you're gonna eat turmeric powder today. Um, I see a lot of Indian, and I'm not trying to, call people out. I just describe people how I describe them, but I know a lot of Indians, they use a lot of turmeric powder. Now, I don't know what they use it for. I didn't know if they used it as far as like with their health or if it's just ritual wise, but I know they use a lot of turmeric powder. So what would you say that that's good for? Is that scare the scare the toxins out? You said if for you it was a clown movie and rock music. I don't know. I've seen some. Again, I like to watch a lot of thrillers and stuff. I've seen some weird stuff, and I'm like, man, I wish I wouldn't have watched that. You said if you can watch The Cabin in the Woods, you can watch Substance. See, that's the point. I had to remember. I had to get up off The Cabin in the Woods for a minute. That was way too much gore for me. You said it scarred you for the whole night. Oh my goodness. See, mm-mm. I might have to watch that in the daylight. Yeah, I might have to watch that in the daylight. Um, yeah, the movie that I mentioned to the thread was this movie called The Bottom of the World. I will never. I wish I hadn't watched that, but a lot of people were saying a lot of the same movie, like Requiem for a Dream was a movie that a lot of people brought up. Like I said, The Substance. Another movie called A Serbian Film, which if you read the synopsis of that film, I don't even know why the heck you would watch that. But yeah, you said this website has the movie. Okay, wait, which website has it? Okay, so you says anti-inflammatory. Okay, nice. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna start looking into some a lot of into what these herbs do because I feel like that's very important, especially if they're saying 100% of the patients that they've autopsied had had parasites. My goodness, that's just scary to even think about. Just like that show Monsters Inside Me. Oh my goodness, very scary. Wait, you said the movie is gonna scar me regardless of the day? I don't want that. I don't want to be scarred. Oh my goodness. My goodness. He said, cancer healers say the sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system is the root and healing modality of healing. It says different folk have to eat different diets based on how their nervous systems work. Oh, okay. Okay. That kind of makes sense because, you always hear, one type of remedy work for one person and then the next person's like, no, I tried it and it still didn't work. I'm stage 4. So that makes sense. So you pretty much have to know how your body works and find things that are tailored to that. Okay. So it's really just best to know what all these herbs and stuff do. Because I firmly believe that herbs are for healing. We just got to know what they do and, like you said, how they work with your particular body. And that way we don't have to be pumped up on all this medicine. You said, okay, is the website. Okay, I will check it out. Let me note that. And I'll check it out. Yeah. Well, that's pretty interesting. I'm not well. I'm actually surprised that they haven't shut these cancer healers down for speaking about anything other than radiation. But yeah, what other movies would you say took you guys down a rabbit hole? Maybe you never wished you wish you were there. Maybe you wish you hadn't gone down it. I think illness is more emotional, nervous system. This is why stress, heartache is the number one killer. You can't diet your way into health. I can agree with you. I can agree with you there. I think that does have a lot to play in it. Especially if you ever notice, I don't know if it ever happens to you, but you're thinking about something, you're thinking about it all day, you're thinking about it, and you can barely go to sleep, or you went to sleep, but then you get woken up thinking about it. My husband's like, I don't believe in stress. He's just, he just wants to smile all the time and sing songs to himself, and not in a bad way. I'm not making fun of him, but I think that's why he doesn't get sick like that, because he tries to make everything as lighthearted as possible. But there has to be a link, right? I just feel like there has to be a link. One of the guys that I grew up in children's church, his daughters were in children's church with us, but both of his parents just passed away in February within like a week or so of each other. And heartbreak is real. I can imagine that, whoever passed first, I don't know which one passed first, but you get so sad, you're so emotional, it causes you to be sick, and then boom, heart attack or whatever. I guess that's why it says we shouldn't be anxious for anything. I have a friend that always says you can't see a second in front of you. So, pretty much to say, why even be stressing about this and that? You can plan for it and execute your plan the best way that you can, but to be stressing out, don't do it. He said Monday morning work heartache. People hate Mondays. I don't mind Mondays at all. I mean, I really don't mind any day of the week, but I definitely don't mind Mondays. I feel like it just depends on what's going on that day. But maybe I do my best to be extra chipper on Mondays because because I know everybody else is going to be all grumpy. You said you hate every day equally, really? It's probably the way that things are set up. You know, is anybody working the 4-day week where you work 4 days and then you have the 3-day weekend? Does anybody work that? And do you like it over the 5-day work week and the 2 days off? Like before I started doing what I was doing now, when I was working door to door, I was working Monday through Saturday, pretty much 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., if not later. And sometimes we would work on Sundays because we're overachievers. And that was way too much working. Way too much. You don't get to see family, friends, all that stuff. Okay, so you work 6 days, 6 days and 10 hours, 10 hours a day. Trying to retire early. I know I am. I'm trying to retire as early as possible. But yeah, I think a lot of states are trying to go to the 4 days. Listen, if you can make, you got to make the best of the time that you got. Save as much as possible, invest as much as possible, because that's not a schedule that you want to work for a long time. It's not a I did it for several years. It's not something that you want to do for a long time. Yeah. He said they ain't paying enough. Care, house, apartments, everything costs stupid amounts. I know it. I feel like they're trying to make a society to where you have to work um overtime and get 2 and 3 jobs. They want us just working. That's how I feel like. They just want us working. All work and no play. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to do my best to get as many streams of income as possible so that if one goes down, because I learned my lesson the hard way. When I lost my business, oh man, I learned the hard way. Never just have one stream of income. Mm-mm. As many resources as you can pull together, do it. But yeah. You said I'm gonna crash out on the next old person who want to run their mouth about them being able to buy a whole house, car, and have a whole family live off Wendy's cashier job salary. Yeah, not anymore. Not anymore. And I'm pretty sure I think you would have to really, really live comfortably. You got to really live comfortably. For sure. I mean, but that's good that they were able to do that. Um, but now we live, yeah, we just got to find ways to work smarter, not harder. You said Boeing killed, whoa, hold on. Boeing killed people and he'll never go broke. How does that work? Listen, I feel like they have so much insurance, they have so much in place to protect them that things like that don't matter. It takes a person on the streets to get mad, like that Luigi guy did. And I'm not advocating, I'm not advocating for none of that. I'm just saying that these people will get away with it as long as they can, unless somebody gets fed up and puts a stop to it. But I think that's why they were showing us all the crashes and stuff that's been happening with the aircraft, because a lot of people, myself included, didn't know that there's so many air traffic fatalities and crashes and stuff going on all year round. And remember, those whistleblowers were trying to tell us, like, listen, they're not making these planes the way they used to make them. They're rushing the job. They got messed up parts, and they were taking those people out for whistleblowing about it. And so now they got to put it in our face, like, no, this was really real. You said, my G, I can't even afford to pay attention. I know that's right. I know that's right. But I mean, there's some industries that will never go away. You'd be surprised. These people are going to still spend money, even if it feels like the economy is going down in the dumps. People still going to spend money. So it's our job to find ways to tap into it. These are twinsies. Mm-mm. But yeah, um, so I was looking into some of the things that we were talking about last week. Like one person brought up how Angie Stone didn't really die. So I was looking into that whole thing, which is crazy because apparently there was a lady when the whole crash happened. There was a lady that helped Angie Stone out of the van, and they said that she was just fine. And then supposedly an 18-wheeler came and hit her. But now that lady has since deleted all of her social media, and nobody can find her. So what's really going on out there? And even my mom was talking about it, because she was talking about how Sauce Walker, well, she don't know these people's names, but she read about Sauce Walker getting shot, and then I guess whoever was on the label with him ended up getting killed, and she was kind of baffled. And I had to let her know about the whole death clause that they have with these different industries, and she was baffled about that. I'm like, yeah, this is not it. No, it really is deep, because they can do things and cover it up, and we would never know. But every week, every month, we see another so-called death that looks awfully like a sacrifice. But I don't know. I saw that they leaked the JFK files about the whole conspiracy, which I'm going to read up on. I saw that Candace Owens had done a deep dive into it, but I want to read stuff for myself and see kind of what went on, because I saw a documentary long time ago, and it was speaking about how pretty much the Republicans and the Democrats were friends behind the scenes, and they had came together to assassinate JFK. And some people are saying that he was assassinated because he was ready to go public with the fact that the deep state was in contact with aliens. But then you see other ones that are saying that he wanted to expose the secret societies. And so I don't know. There's a lot that they don't want us to know. A lot that they don't want us to know. But there's a lot of people that don't believe that the alien they don't believe that there's a such thing as alien technology. I went and looked up the files. Now, this was about a week and a half ago when I looked it up, and I went to the department, um, the government department that had posted them. Do you know that all those files, when you go to download them, they were corrupted? The actual flight list itself is corrupted, but then they have other lists, like the massage list that came out. They allow you to download that, but literally every name is redacted. So you can't see anything. And then there was another flight log that they released, but it's you can hardly read it, and most of the time it's just Epstein's name on it. So I don't really know if they put out the real list, to be honest. And if they did, like I said, they redacted most of it or all of it, so you can't even see it anyway. So I don't know what again, it's just them pulling our leg. It's just them pulling our leg, acting like they were going to release the information, like they were going to get justice for all these people that were victims, and it's not true. And and you see how quiet it is out there. They're not even talking about it anymore. They're not even mentioning the list at all anymore. So it's just crazy how fast it's just crazy how fast we forget. I mean, I haven't forgotten. Obviously, you haven't forgotten, but most of America does. You said, wait till America realizes there's no left or right, and it's just the thesis and antithesis that equals synthesis. Nothing about our political system actually makes logical sense. And that's a mouthful, because I don't even know why we haven't realized that in the first place. I think people are starting to wake up, though. People are starting to see a lot of the division, and seeing that a lot of things are being put out there to divide. But you're right. A lot of it makes no political. It makes no sense at all. Which is the main reason why I was like, I got to get out of this field. Once you realize, yeah, it's a checks and balances system, but they're really just checking each other, and they're just checking each other out. What they say goes. Yeah. But what would they do about it, though? When if they found out that information, what would they do about it? I believe that people are so set in their ways that they don't want to know anything more. He said, "Why does everyone get paid except you?" Reparations. That's a good question. That's a real good question. 'Cause I've seen tons and tons of groups get paid out, but no explanation as to why we don't. But again, that's one of those things that, again, if they did decide that they were going to get, I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it. But I feel like there's got to be some conspiracy behind why just a certain group of people. We know who that group is, but why just a certain group of people? And is that part of the judgment? The American people are too arrogant to even believe it in the first place. Oh yeah, I could see that. But that's because we were just taught a whole bunch of nonsense that wasn't true. First, we we're told that the United States was found on God. It's God, all right, but it's not the God that we think. um, we were made to believe that this was a country that was supposed to work on behalf of the people. Come to find out, it's a corporation, and those that work within it are working on behalf of the corporation. And that it's set up like a prison. Everything around us has been set up to enslave us. But it doesn't look and feel like it, though. Because if you look outside of the United States and you see other countries, what do they say? They say it's first world problems. When you tell them the issues that are going on here, they say no, that's first world problems. And I get it. I hear them. But that's the reason why people don't think that we need to change things over here, because if you look at other places, they seem to have it a lot worse. Said, I hate the word reparations. It's all wrong. They constantly use word games. Yeah. Here's the real explanation. The way American capitalism is based on is for a group to be at the detriment of society, financially, socially. This is why the idea of race was introduced to the US. All right now. All right now. But I mean, yeah, I hear that too. Is that the trickle down economics a part of that? You got the people at the top, they own the businesses, and they are supposed to create jobs so that the rest of society can eat. But you end up working for these companies for X amount of years of your life, X amount of hours a day, X amount of days a week, and compared to them, you get pennies on the dollar. And I get it because they are the ones building the businesses. I just don't think it should be set up to where people have no time but to work. Once you misname it, you can play games. Exactly, and that's exactly what they've been doing. That's why they've been changing definitions of words. And look how confused people are. Look how confused people are just by messing with words. People don't know up from down, left from right, men from women. It's crazy. But the enemy knows that though. He said, I'm a slave to my own property, no one else's. I just got done hanging 1.5 acres of fencing, took me nearly 1,200 feet, did it all by my slave self. That's good. That's real good. Yeah, that's awesome. Yep. He said, that's what I'm talking about. Build it yourself. Yeah, build yourself. That's pretty much where that's pretty much where we are right now. If you haven't noticed, that's pretty much where we are right now. If you're not willing to get up and again, nothing wrong with a 9 to 5 and other stuff. People make good money, people retire off of it. But at the same time, a lot of people are noticing, oh, these people don't care about me. If I have to take a sick day, they'll just fire me. Or if I have to leave to go have a baby, they can just fire me or whatever. And so, yeah, people are waking up that they gotta start going and getting out the mud. Black Americans will never get legit reparations because they are the bottom line detriment that America strives on. This is why race isn't a social issue, which is it was originally a financial solution. Okay. Meaning to say, are you meaning to say like they won't? Okay, so they need black people to be at the bottom to do the I don't want to say the dirty work, to be the workers, and that's why they won't give them reparations to get up to lift themselves. You said I'm too cheap to pay anyone when I have 2 arms. I mean, that's a good point too. To learn how to do things yourself, DIY. I mean, but that's good to be able to have those skills to be able to do it yourself. Hmm. Money just doesn't go as far as it did when I was younger. I don't know how folks are expected to achieve more with way less today. I know. I wonder. I wonder. I mean, but how, I don't know. How can we do it? How can we do it? There's got to be a way. Thousandaires are being made every day. Millionaires are being made every day. There's got to be a way. But no, I agree. I agree. You said only Jews get handouts. And listen, you said they really getting reps willingly or force. I really want to start. Do you all watch those channels where they go up and they ask, different millionaires how they became a millionaire? I've been watching a lot of those lately because really people are not. A lot of these people that become millionaires, of course, there's people that get handed that silver spoon, but if you hear a lot of these people's stories, they'll start with like $5, they'll start with $25, and then they just start flipping it. Because sometimes, man, there's some days where, what am I trying to say? Sometimes it's when you're down and out when all your ideas start coming to you. And your back is up against the wall, and there's really nothing you can do but to risk it all. And then that risk is what pays off. Because listen, when we're comfortable, we're kind of just sitting back, we're just working, we're just paying our bills. But when you actually lose it, you start thinking about any way to make it. I remember one day when I was still working door to door, and I still had my own office and all that. And when I tell you I had no gas in my car, I had no money whatsoever. I just did not have it. And I was up near my parents' house. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to this neighborhood. I'm gonna knock these doors as long as I can knock them, and I'm gonna see what I can do. And I said, if I run out of gas, I'll just have my parents come get me because it's like I said, it was only 9 minutes away. I'm gonna go to the neighborhood 9 minutes away from where they live. When I tell you I knocked doors for like an hour, I finally got into this guy's house, sold him the product that we sell, and he put 1,800 on the credit card. I went and put gas in my car. But I'm saying all that to say my back was against the wall. And I told myself, I'm just going to drive to where I can, where a good neighborhood is. If I run out of gas, oh well, but I gotta make it. And I don't know. I kind of don't want reparations for that reason, because I see what welfare is doing to people. And there are people that use it to get out of their situation. And then there's some people that it becomes a crutch, and they never start putting their mind to things. They never start going after their dreams. So that would be my only reason to be against it. Like, I'm a grease monkey. I can work on anything with an engine. I learned how to do so before YouTube was a thing by reading manuals. I'm always building something. Okay. Just built my nephew a mini bike for $60. See, that's awesome. I enjoy handy people. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. And just things like that, just little skills like that, you can just take them and turn them into, and I know a lot of people don't, especially if it's something that they love to do, they don't like to turn it into a business because you feel like you're not going to like it and love it anymore. And I can understand that. But I feel like it's the easiest way to make money is um, to put your skills out there. But no, that's awesome. You save a lot of money by being able to fix stuff. You said thank you. They get handout, then they'll be like, wait, we get DEI and affirmative action and never happened, and it's a lot of TV Black people play into. Yeah, I just don't. I mean, I get why we have to have. See, I don't really know too much about the DEI. I'll be honest, I don't really know too much about that. Um, but affirmative action has been around since I can remember. And although I understand it, I understand it. But at the same time, would you want a doctor who was hired just because they were a certain, race or whatever? I wouldn't want that. I want somebody who's the best qualified to do the job. But no, I know a lot of Black people played into that, and they said that white people are the ones that, I think it's even white women at that benefit from the DEI the most. Same with welfare. And I think that's a lot of what Candace Owens was saying a few years back when people really started getting on her case. She was like, man, we don't need all these handouts like this. But she was coming from the standpoint of, you have brains, you have skills, we're not stupid. Like, you can do this. You are somebody, you can do this. And people got upset at that. You said yes, but it's more complex than that. The higher ups have openly commodified blacks, but by doing so, secretly commodified every other race. All the while, corporations profit after the racial mess. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's not just us. It's not. It's not. They've literally everybody. I mean, but there's races of people that are not. Again, I bring up Indians a lot because, man, I don't know how they do it, and I admire them for it. But they be buying up these gas stations, these little corner stores and stuff like that. Oh, they got it. I was doing some consulting work the other day, and I was talking to the manager, and he was like, "Have you been to my other store?" I'm like, "Your other store?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, he's got another gas station a couple doors down from where he's at. And then they put their family on. Their friends and their family work for them. And they buy up whole neighborhoods. I know, I feel like I've told y'all that before. They buy up whole neighborhoods. If it's a good area, they tell their friends about it. So I just noticed that they work together in that respect. And I think that although we have been, I guess, commodified, I think we need to take what we've learned from all this work we've had to do, from all these skills we've had to acquire, and put it to good use. And put it to good use for our families. And when I say us, I'm not just talking about Black people. I mean, take this and use it in your own communities. This is not just about Black folk, because other races of people are doing it. And you really only see it happening in, like, if you go to a small town and it's Black people, then you'll see Black owned businesses and they thrive and things like that. It's just but you don't see it mm, like in mixed company, I guess. Most people aren't aware of the free government handouts you can get to fund a business or real estate. You can also leverage other people's money. Yeah, there's grants and stuff that you can get. There's websites that you can go log into, and if you fit into certain categories, they're looking for teachers to sponsor. They're looking for um, I don't know, techies and all kinds of stuff just to give money to, so that you can build businesses. And you're right, a lot of people do not know that. Money that you don't have to pay back. Yeah. And I know a lot. I think I want to start reading. I've read it before, but I probably want to do it for book club on the Patreon. But Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he teaches you how to go from, being someone who's, I guess you would say, a worker, to maybe an independent contractor, to a business owner. He shows you how to go from each stage to the next and invest in, because he's like, he tell you, I don't use my own money. Robert Kiyosaki, he's like, I do not use my own money. Matter of fact, he uses debt in order to make more money. So if he does get a loan, like say for instance, he does go to the bank and get a loan, he uses that to invest in something that's going to make him money. He's not out buying cars and stuff like that. If he goes and buys a house, it's so that he can flip it and rent it out or sell it for more money. So just little things like that most people don't do, because again, you're just working paycheck to paycheck. You're paying your bills. Sometimes you might decide to put a little money to the side for a rainy day. Most times you don't. I know I'm, spending money on food and all kinds of stuff when you can literally be finding something to invest into that's going to give you a return on your investment. They better give Blacks reparations. They deserve it. They're not going to. They're not going to. They've been, man, how long have Black people been asking for reparations? And they haven't found a good reason to give it to them? No. No. When you're down and out, Amazon sells ski masks for less than $4. Listen, I don't know what you would need that ski mask for. I hope it's not to rob nobody, but I mean, shoot. Do you know how many, listen, do you know how many people made money off those masks? And I know you're not talking about ski masks, but just a little mask during the pandemic. I knocked on this lady's door. That's what she sold. She was like, "Oh, I've had my business since the beginning of the pandemic. They shut me down. I couldn't go outside or whatever, or she felt she couldn't go outside." And she started making those masks in her home, being down and out. That's how things come to you. I mean, ideas. Everyone says there is government funding until you try to get it. And I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure it's hard, because they literally have jobs as grant writers. You gotta be skilled. Well, I'm gonna say you have to be skilled, but I'm pretty sure skills and grant writing and stuff works. But sometimes just even asking, there's a lot of companies or just a lot of people, I think they call them angel funders or something like that. People are looking for people to give money to. I know it's weird, but not, I don't say it's weird, but they want to help out. But it requires you asking. It's just kind of like that, closed mouths don't get fed. It's just like that. When I was a paralegal, I used to write support letters for different mayors. They were literally called into this law office because the lawyer that I worked for, he was also a congressman. But anyways, they would call him and ask for support letters so they can get money to build like water towers and just different things. And literally just asking. And my boss would be like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll give them how much money they need. Okay, I'll give it to them. So you just never know. But yeah, I can imagine government funding is a little harder because they like to they rather take money they rather take money than to give it. But government is not always the end all be all. Again, there's people out here that are looking for people to sponsor and businesses to invest into. You have to be willing to tap the resources and know it takes time. I know two people who use the process to fund their businesses. It's free, but by no means easy. That's good. That's good. You're right. You do have to be willing to do it. And reading up as much as possible and seeing what's out there. Absolutely. Absolutely. Too much welfare, Section 8, project shame, and stereotypes. I would go to projects right now if I could. I know that's right. I remember when I was in school, there were people that were living on $20 a month for an apartment. Like, man, must be nice. But again, when you do have that luxury of only paying $20 a month, what are you doing with the rest of your money? Is the question. Are you using the extra money to get out of your situation? And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I know, well, I mean, for me, I guess I can speak for myself. It's hard to take risk. And sometimes you just do what you know. You're like, okay, I know my bills are going to be this much. I made this month. And you just keep on in the same routine. But how do we get out of the cycle? Pay what you owe. You're right. You're right. Pay what you owe. It never happened, and no, they were not hiring unqualified black dummies. White men get affirmative action. We don't, never did. It's a lie. Well, hey. I mean, yeah, I guess it would. No, I mean, I guess you're right. It wouldn't make sense for them to hire anybody unqualified. But I just don't. When they wanted a quota to be met, I just don't know how hard they were looking for the most qualified person. But I don't know. The black community succeeded, so me say even more than whites before welfare, and there's plenty of data on that claim. Yeah, exactly. Jim Crow era, people were doing fine. They might not have been living the life of luxury, but they were doing just fine. You said only blacks don't network. They just hate because I'm fly. Well, why? Why do you think that is? Why do you think they? You said they don't network. I don't know if most people know how important it is to network. Or even when you're building a business to have other people with you. You said, well, to be fair, blacks are in a different issue. Matriarchy, no morals, no spiritual guidelines have plagued the black community for the longest. The black dudes feminine and the women are masculine. But why do you think there has been a breakdown in such a way for the Black community? Why do you think there why do you think that's an issue in the Black community? I feel like that's a topic for a panel, but I'm gonna ask it now. Because at one point, that I'm not gonna say that wasn't an issue, but it, it wasn't an issue. But now today it is. And I get how welfare encourage women not to have men in the home, but why the moral decline? Why the lack of spirituality? Why that? I dated a contractor for a three-letter agency for 3 years. She said a lot of these agendas are pushed to divide us because they're scared of the numbers we have if we got on the same page on anything. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Because if we all got together, they definitely wouldn't be able to stop nothing. Because we are the army, we are the military, and by we I mean the constituents in the corporation. And if they say no, we ain't fighting. Like if everybody in the military said no, we're not going for it, we're not fighting, what would they do? And that's another thing. That's another reason why the Second Amendment is so important. I know a lot of people are like, okay, gun control, and I get it, right? Because guns are killing a lot of people, but we don't want to be Anne Frank either. Because when they took all them people's guns, that's when the Holocaust happened. Because they had nothing to fight back with. You said Vlog said it's a game. It definitely is a game. To them, it definitely is a game. So we gotta. I just feel like we're at a point where we need to acknowledge the game and find out how to win at their game. And now the Black community is flipped upside down, and they think it's okay. No one's getting married anymore. Baby daddies and baby mamas are the norm. The young men are swirling their hips and dancing on cam. Yeah, and that's where I'm trying to figure out where, even with the marriage thing, when did marriage become so looked down upon? And now, as soon as you bring marriage up, everybody don't want to get married. They start hopping on your head about it. So, what happened? Leveraging debt is the quickest way to become a millionaire besides selling heroin. Okay. I mean, you're right. And you're right. Um, I'm trying to think of that scripture where I'm gonna have to pull it up, where it tells us not to be a slave to the lender. We need to be a lender and not a borrower, pretty much. I don't like 22 and Proverbs 22:7 says the rich rule over the poor and the borrower is slave to the lender. And that's for sure. And that's exactly what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. The women are whores, want the honey for their time, and the men are fruit baskets. No lies told. No lies told. And do you know the comeback that they say about that is, well, prostitution is the oldest profession. That's what they throw out there when you tell them. And that's what they say. So yeah, you're right. I mean, it's all turned upside down. You said throw a gem. Question mark. I'm rude. Mhm. He said, Cam the King, you right. There is free money in people's wallets. I'm gonna get that $4 ski mask. You're so funny. Um, we live in a society that controlled by force. The only way you will get what you want is through exercising that force. These people don't care about words. You have to be willing to take what you want. Yeah, yeah. And I think we're speaking of in a not really take, like bust your windows out and take it, but you definitely have to go after what you want. And you have to have faith that you can do it. Because what they say, if you believe that you can, you're right. And if you believe you can't, you're right. So you said that watch is nice. That's what you bought for Mickey Maskway. Make money, money, take money, money. Yeah. Yeah, funny. Um, let's see here. Um, you said I'm not getting ahead working hard and there is no extra money. Section 8 welfare recipients work hard and hustle. Yeah, I I can feel I can see how that could be. I can see how that can be. So I think where the money is in businesses where people are already doing it for themselves. Like something that you don't have to, something that's not a hard sell. Like what helps people and what are people doing anyway, and tapping into that. Um, I mean, but that's good if they are, if the Section 8, if they're working hard and hustling, then power to them. Power to them. But I think also what happens is, especially when people start making more money, then they start buying more things. And they upgrade the car and they upgrade the house, and everything just gets a revamping. And so that money that you made ends up, you know, going into gadgets and toys and tinkering. So I woke up daily realizing how much I don't fit into society. I don't understand why we pay for free resources like water and food. I can't understand that either. I remember seeing when Orlando Brown, when he went off about that. It was so funny. He was like, you got us out here paying for grapes. And that's for real. Stuff that literally grows on a vine, grows out of the ground, we are paying for. Have you ever seen the Lorax? And they were bottling up water, bottling up air and selling it. I feel like we're not too far away. But yeah, I don't understand that either. But somebody has found a way to capitalize off of it, and now we're stuck in the system. And that's why anybody who tries to create gadgets where we're, can have clean water and food and stuff without having to go through the government, they shut them down or they come up missing. So, yeah. Equal opportunity infers blacks are less than. And I think that's where, I think that's kind of my sentiments about the whole reparations thing. Because if no black person was ever able to make, to make money and have businesses, and then okay. But there's people out there that have done it. So at some point, we got to get rid of the excuses. The boule sold out the black community. Yeah. Either knowingly or unknowingly. Um, but again, they are. I don't want to take the talent and the intelligence and things like that away from them. But if someone tells you, "Hey, I need you to come join me, and together we're gonna do such and such and such and such to hold down the rest of your people," then I think at that point you've sold out. But if you're somebody who gets into one of those positions, those higher up positions, and you start reaching a hand out and pulling people up, then I don't have no problem with that. I feel like that's what you need to be in those places to do. Because who wouldn't? Again, these other races have absolutely no problem. And I don't, Adam Sandler just popped into my head. Adam Sandler. Look how many movies Adam Sandler has been in. Then he creates his own production company, and every single movie, it'd be the same 5, 6 friends in every single movie. We don't put people on. I don't say he puts his people on, but then you take somebody like what's Chris Rock's brother? What's his name? Is his name Tony? What he say? Chris Rock has never put him in any of his movies. And he has asked his brother, like, why, why not me? I don't even think he's got an answer yet. So it's just things that other people do differently. People just do they just do it differently. Issues in the black community has to be a curse. Yeah. I mean, all I can think about is ham. All I can think about is ham. Because they buy into the psyop so easily, you don't have strong men leading troubled youth. Everyone wants to be Mr. Cool, not Mr. Right. Yeah. And do we even have as many? I was actually surprised to know that my niece's teacher, she's 6, that he's a male. I was actually surprised to see that, because you don't see too many male teachers, especially at that age when kids are growing up, their teen years and things like that. Now in college, there was a lot of male professors. But at that point, people were pretty much already developed at that point. But definitely don't have too many. Not from what I see. There's no men leading the. And even when I was in children's church, when I was at an age when we had children's church, there were my youth pastors were men, most of them. There were some females, here and there, but the main one was they were men. And so I don't know. Do we need to go back to the way things were? And that even just reminds me of that. I don't know if you guys seen that clip of Marshawn Lynch. He had been, I guess, maybe yelling at one of the football players in one of his camps, and this mom came up and was mad about it. Like, why are you talking to my son like that? This and this and that. And Marshawn told her, like, hey, is there a man around that I can talk to about this? And she's like, well, why you gotta talk to me? He's like, because men understand other men, and they will understand that I'm not being hard on your son, but I'm also not here to baby him. He's here for a reason. I'm a man. I'm here to be a strong leader for him, and I need you to fall back. And again, the moms were mad, but the men understood. So yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot missing. We are not matriarchal. We are not a matriarchal race. Single mom does not equal matriarchal. Welfare didn't take men out of any racist home, not black people. Every black woman wasn't a low life having babies with a man with no job. No, I can agree with that. I mean, I don't know too much about welfare in that aspect, but I'm going to just say rumor has it that they would tell the women, you can have this welfare check, but there can't be a man there. Like if you have a two income household, they're not giving you welfare. And I don't know, again, you can please correct me if I'm wrong. If you know somebody who has man and woman, they live in married or whatever, and they're on welfare, I would love to know it. But just from the way that they tell about, the history of welfare and what's going on with it now, they're not supporting a man and woman in a home. You said, look, all the rights hang on the Second Amendment. Look at what happened in China, Japan, and Germany when the citizens didn't have access to firearms. Exactly. Exactly. We would be sitting ducks if we didn't. Because wasn't that Kamala that was trying to go door to door to take guns, and the people were like, "No, girl, you better go sit down somewhere." I would hope my mother would take welfare to feed me before she let me starve with the man in the house. Okay. I mean, yeah. Again, not to knock it. Absolutely not to knock it. It's there for a reason. People fall in hard times. Um, anything can happen. You can get sick and have to be out of work, hurt yourself on the job and have to be out of work. Anything can happen. I just think, but the way they have it set up, there's no stipulations. They don't make you have to have a job in order to be on welfare. You can just be on it for years and years and years and not be productive in society at all. And I think if more stipulations were put in place, more people will be inclined to get on their feet. Even if you have to take that help, you'll in the meantime be maybe looking for a better job or whatever, knowing that it wasn't going to last forever. That's a lie. The oldest profession would probably be mercenaries. That's just hard talk for excuse of my actions. I know it. I know it. And why would that be? And even if it was the oldest profession, why would you brag about that? And still, why would that be something that you choose to do? Um, that whatever podcast, they have a lot of conversations. They have a lot of prostitutes on that show, and it's really interesting to see their perspective and how they think about things. Yeah, it's really interesting. Faith sounds good and all, but being a comedian don't pay the bills. And how they gonna cancel me But they're gonna cancel my bus fare. Well, listen, I don't know about that. There's a lot of comedians paying bills. That's a lot of comedians paying bills. It's a lot of people from all walks of life paying bills. Um, it really just depends on how you play it, who your audience is, how much you put yourself out there. Man, there's so many different industries. There's people that get paid just for. Have you seen those different? There'll be like a hugger. Literally, strangers book them to give them hugs or to spend the day with them, and they get paid to do like silly stuff. It's silly stuff. You just got to be creative. Yep, you just got to be creative. Um, have you ever looked into? You said through. Have you ever looked into IT careers? Most you can do with a certificate or associates is to pay 80K. Oh, okay. Well, heck, 80K is good, huh? But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you can make a lot of money in the IT careers because computers are never going away. If you know how to fix computers or web design and all kinds of stuff, those industries are going to be around for a long time, and people pay high dollar for that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people that have, businesses where they need a website. Yeah, there's so much money to be made. Exactly. Nope. Oh man, exactly how I ain't gonna do it like he did it, but that's exactly how he said it. Orlando Brown is so funny. He's so funny. Well, I told y'all I got tickets for harvesting rainwater. I know, and that's sad because they want you to be able to pay for water. They want you to be hooked up to the system. I know that's just sounds so silly. Man, that just sounds so silly. You say you can't have nothing free. I know it. Mm-mm. A wise person said racism won't stop till you stop talking about it. I'm under the impression there is one race, the human race. I don't subscribe to the psyop. And I can agree with that as well. I can agree with that. Because like I said, I see a lot on TV and people fussing and fighting, but out here where I'm at, I don't see a whole lot of that. If people are fighting, it's not because you're black or he's Mexican or nothing like that. It's because you probably cut somebody off in traffic or something stupid. But it's never about no black and white. It's too many people biracial and it's too much of that out here. So yeah, I agree. But again, you can't say things like that. Remember when Lil Wayne he tried to say he don't see racism, and they almost chewed him up and spit him out. He said reparations is not a handout; it's money you are due. It's your inheritance. Um. Okay. I guess I wonder why they don't believe that. Then, if it's an inheritance and it's owed, why don't they? I don't know. No one's getting reparations with 30 trillion in debt, and the process would take years to determine whose families were actually affected. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. Adam Sandler, hold on. Adam Sandler is to his people what Tyler Perry ain't for black people. Listen, he he puts a lot of people in his TV shows and in his movies, but it's just for foolishness. The roles that they have to play are foolishness. So, yeah. Make an appointment with the local community college advisor for IT. It's free, and they can advise you on paths with or without degrees. My nephew, 20 years, makes 92,000 a year. His second year, yeah, I'm telling you, IT make money. Oh yeah, communication systems, all that kind of stuff, money, money. Like that's what my dad did when he was in the military, and he's been doing that all his life, communication systems. And literally they'll have him go to places like Honduras or Cuba, in places where they have no communication systems at all, and he implements it. Like, just imagine you being the person that goes and puts in all the infrastructure for a certain, community that doesn't have it. You're getting paid. So yeah. And those are the type of the IT is a type of job that you don't even need to go to a college per se. They have a lot of trade schools that'll teach you all that stuff as well. I think even some online schools like cybersecurity. Excuse me, I was looking that information up for my husband once. I think it was only like $42. To sign up. It was some crazy stuff. And to get that much of an investment out of it or a return is good. He went the certificate route. It was paid free by the state and took about 4 months, going 2 times a week. That's awesome. 4 months going 2 times a week, and you're making 92,000 a year. That's a steal right there. That's a steal right there. Heck yeah. Said nope. Why is the lone rich Black person look to save us? That's not a group economic plan. Where is our family? I mean, what? Now, are you talking about are you saying the lone Black, is that Tyler Perry? Listen, there's a lot of Black rich people, believe it or not. I used to live in Ruston, Louisiana, and you wouldn't know it by the size of this place, but it has the most millionaires per capita in the whole United States. Now, I don't know if that's still their numbers to this day, but at one point, this little bitty town had the most millionaires per capita. Carl Malone's wife used to go to the Sonic I used to work at and get her food. But again, a lot of people just believe in, and not through any fault of their own, right? Because this is just what we're taught. We're taught to go to school so that we can come out and get a good job. Most of the time, they're not talking to you about investing money and having businesses and tax write-offs, and they're not teaching you most of that stuff in school. That's more like advanced learning, or if you have a particular, like if you're an accountant or something like that, where your career is going to require a lot of numbers, then they'll talk to you about that stuff. But just plain Jane, regular career paths, they don't teach you that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I agree. We need to have more of an economic plan for our families. And I think that's why I'm kind of talking about this tonight. I know it's kind of off from where we usually talk about with, conspiracy theories and stuff, but I just think it's stuff that we need to know, especially in a time where a lot of people are worried about the economy and what's going to happen. And you see how many jobs have been sliced and diced these last couple weeks. with this, with the administration. So people are wanting to know that they're going to be stable and, and ways to do it. So that's why we're talking about it. You said that's not the reason I put the comparison. It's the mentality some races have that other races don't. Yeah. Said Cam the King, what sector of IT is he in exactly? Really good question. Really good question. People speak about welfare like it's every Black story. 2 incomes can't qualify for welfare. The man hides out, but he always ate the welfare food and slept in the house. Yeah, I mean, I would do the same thing. I would do the same thing. I mean, if that's, the route that I decide to take. Because what you mean I got to let my man go? No, thank you. But no, you're right. But no, it's not. Like I said, most people I knew that were on it. I mean, heck, I knew a manager. She was getting like $700, $800 in food stamps a month. I think she had maybe 2 kids. Like, goodness gracious. You know what I could do with $700, $800 a month? But yeah. So I don't know, this new venture that I'm thinking about taking this on. I'm gonna sleep on it one more night. I'm probably gonna start doing it tomorrow, but I guess they're looking for a lot of travel agents. And I had done an interview on it a couple months ago, but when I researched it, it looked kind of scammy. And I was like, no, I'm good. And so I was talking to my best friend about it, and she knows one of our sisters that is actually doing it and has been doing it for a year and is doing really well. So I was able to talk to her and find out that it was legit. And, pretty much you're just making money off of things that people do every single day, like book hotel flights and rooms and vacation spots and things like that. So I'm like, okay, well, let me check it out and see. And I'll come back and tell y'all about it. I'll take one for the team and see how it goes because, yeah, I don't plan on working my fingers to the bone for the next 20 years. That's just not what I want to do. Not what I want to do. But no, I agree. Let me see. I believe it's CISA. It takes like 14 weeks to get if you go 5 times a week. He went the longer path due to working full time while going. Nice. I mean, but 14 weeks that's not a long time either. I'm also seeing a lot of they're asking for a lot of truck drivers as well. And I know those truckers, they get a lot of money. They get a lot of money as well. And I thought that all truckers have to go for days at a time. They're always on the road, but there are some companies where you're back same day. You go travel to where you got to go, and then you're back home, by dinner time. So there's so many different routes, and those people pay a good bonus to get on, and then you're making, buku money after that, enough to even buy your own trucks and put those on the road. So you said, I have a feeling getting paid for hugs could lead to other things. Listen, you got to have boundaries. Yeah, I don't know how it works. I just heard about it. But just imagine, like, you got to just think about it. If somebody's making money to where they can make a full-time business out of it, some other people, I guess, People were looking for hugs. There was a whole market for it. I mean, who knew? And the thing is, you just got to put your ideas out there. You just got to put your ideas out there. And it starts catching on like wildfire. He said welfare is not what's holding the Black race back. It's our individualism. I agree. Um, but why do you think that is? Why do you think the Black community is so, I want to just say, independent? Almost like you want to hoard the secrets to success. And I'm not saying that that's what happens, right? Because I know a lot of successful Black people that do not mind sharing knowledge and things like that. But for the ones that it's a problem with, why do you think that is? Is it because it's hard to get to the top, and so you don't want to tell anybody else about it because they might beat you there, and then now you're not in that spot, or like, what is it? Because the one thing that I learned from running a business is if you plan on growing, it can't be just you. Like, it feels good because you are the boss and you get to make all the decisions and it's your baby and you don't want to let anybody touch it. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to outsource some work. They always say, for those who want to be business owners, they always say you need to stay out the weeds. That's not where your job is. Your job is to focus on building the system and working on how to generate money. The little bitty stuff like filing paperwork and crunching number, all that kind of stuff, you need to outsource that type of work. Pay somebody else to do it so that you can focus on building the system and finding out how to generate money. And if that's the biggest lesson that I learned. You got to have a team. You have to have a team. If a woman needs welfare to feed her kids, she shouldn't have had kids, and she willingly chose to raise them in poverty. Well, didn't Michael Jackson say, if you can't feed your baby, then don't have a baby? I mean, I agree. I mean, it's really not much that you can say against that. And the issue is that they have multiple babies. They be having multiple babies that they can't feed. So, most people I know in IT make close to or seriously over 100K a year. Exactly. Exactly. And there's so many, you can probably watch YouTube videos and become a techie for real. Speaking of the rainwater, you said it was silly. They came to my home with 5 sheriffs like I was holding bodies. I told them I have hogs. They wouldn't find any evidence. If so, then they mentioned it was for the rainwater. And they have nothing better to do. There's no crime that they need to be fighting. Nothing. Rainwater. Mm-mm. The contract knows we won't demand nothing of them, hence the out in the open corruption. Yeah, but I think that's because most people think that we work for the government instead of the government working for us. I mean, I think it's supposed to be the government works for us, but again, it's a corporation, so it's the other way around. So it's kind of hard to demand anything from them because, yeah, we're the workers according to them. We work for them. The contracting is where the big money is. My friend is in the army in IT, made 60K once contracting. He made 230K untaxable. Nice. And I think with the whole contracting thing, yeah, them government contracts, because you don't have to contract just one company, if I'm not mistaken. If they don't have a clause where it's like a non-compete type of clause, um, then yeah, you can contract with as many companies as you want to. Just have somebody write you up a good contract and shop that bad boy around. Yep. Yep. And when you're out and about and you're just in the grocery store and you're striking up conversations with people, make a friend and then bring it up, because you never know who knows who. You never know. Yeah. Good point, Cam the King. Really good point. Contracting is where you can make a lot of good money. Only immigrants and Europeans are against foundational Black Americans getting reparations. Yeah. Yeah. And I can see why the Europeans wouldn't want it, because you don't want you've been in control for a very long time and you don't want anyone to have, that leverage over you. But why the immigrants? Is it, I mean, maybe for the same reason? Maybe for the same reason. But again, if you got reparations today, what would you do with the money? What would you do with the money? Tyler Perry is Black. I thought he was a middle-aged Filipino woman, all dresses through. They'll throw me off, I guess. Yeah, that's what he likes. He like putting them skirts on. Oh, well, they want workers, not employers. They want you making them money. Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. But they also know that the money is in being an employer. That's what they get, so many kickbacks being an employer. They get tax write-offs for having a certain amount of employees. You can write off your gas money, you can write off your lunch money, even some businesses, even for independent contractors, you can write off clothing that you have to buy for your job. You can write those off on your taxes. So they know that, those type of things, independent contractors and being business owners, that's where the money's at. Because again, they can the same, and again, not everybody's going to be a business owner. If you don't want to, it's all good, because there's so many different ways to make money, even if you don't want to be in business for yourself. But I'm just thinking about the tax write-offs. So many different things you can do. Rich Black people are a different class and separate, that don't mistake themselves to be a regular but a different race. Um, okay, I can see that. I can see that. Um, I can see that. Not all of them, right? There's not all of them, but I have noticed, like I would go and work in certain neighborhoods and I would knock on certain doors, and sometimes Black people would answer and they would not even shake my hand. It's like, okay, what? Who do you think you are? And again, not everybody shakes hands. That's not my point, but they would almost look at your hand as if you got dirt on it. And it's like, we're the same color, brother. I'm just playing. I don't say brother. Everybody ain't. All skin folk ain't kin folk. Do you have trucking companies' names? I can get some because I pass them every day. I will definitely, let me put that in my notes. I will definitely get you some because they are begging for people. And I don't even think the CDLs take that long to get. So I will definitely get that information. Trucking companies. Yep. I know a guy on a YouTube channel who's in trucking. He said he could make anywhere from 150K to 300K a year, depending on how much he travels. But now he's older, he stays in state more. Exactly. And I don't know, to be honest, I don't know how the trucking company works. Um, I don't know if they're paying you for the amount of time that you're on the road or how it works. I just know that people who are trucking, they ain't hurting. Yep. Business can be dirty. Yes, it can. And it's absolutely not for everybody. It can be dirty. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of time. It doesn't always require a lot of money, which is good news. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. Um, but it's one of those things that you always have to have your mind on. Like you can't just, it takes a long time to build it up before you can just, let it go. And it work while you're sleeping and different things like that. But the thing is, we work every day to build somebody else's business when you probably have just as much skill, just as much know-how, just as much drive to do it for yourself. Our mottos, parents and culture teaches that we leave home, the South, our neighborhood, peers to rise above our people and where we came from. Yeah, you're right. Everybody wants to be better than how they grew up. Absolutely. Yep. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But reach out a hand and pull somebody else up. You know. Why couldn't I be born Middle Eastern? They all get free gas station. I don't know if they're getting them for free. But you know what? Next time I go into one of these stations, because I do a lot of consulting work, and so I have to talk to them on a regular basis. But I'm gonna find out, and I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna let you guys know what I find out. I'm gonna be like, how is it that you all can own these businesses? What, did you have a business before and you took it and invested in these gas stations, or did you come from money? I want to find out. I do want to find out. I said, I agree. Keep it 100. That being said, most of us should be here. Oh, shouldn't be here. Mm. I've seen recent evidence to support the big corporations make laws and bills here in the U.S., not the politicians. Of course they do. Of course they do. They have it's called lobbying. So they'll go when they're about to pass a bill or whatever, and they'll take a representative and they'll go and offer money or whatever they need to offer in order for you to lean certain ways on laws and bills. and they know that they have that permanent stream of income from these businesses, because who are the workers? We're the workers. So we make the money so they can run their businesses, and then those businesses give the money to the politicians so that they can make laws that benefit them and their business. It's just a big circle of life. It sure is. Yep. That's why I told you I told y'all the mayors and stuff used to call up to the office like, hey, can you write me a support letter so that we can get this, we can get that, we can get this, we can that. I'm like, yeah. I used to write these letters myself, so I know that this is what these people, these corporations do. We got to get the pregnancy down 90%. See, that's the crazy thing is pregnancy is already down. The birth rates are already low. But the problem is, yeah, I mean, so I don't really know how to what to do with that, because birth rates are already low. But at the same time, we have an epidemic of single parenthood. And more millennials and stuff they're choosing not to get married, and they're choosing not to have kids. But I mean, it's all part of the agenda, though. Sterilizing people and abortion, all that kind of stuff is all part of the agenda to depopulate. So I don't know what's in the water to where people don't want to get married and they don't want to have babies anymore, but we're definitely going to feel the effects of it, especially in the Black community, because they kill more babies than everybody. And so if you're killing off your generations, you have no way to. You're not gonna have a community to help you build wealth. It's just crazy. Two-parent homes can't afford children financially, emotionally, yeah, or emotionally, yeah. What are we gonna do? If I got reparations today, I'd build an empire off the Old Testament. Okay, okay. I feel like that's jam packed with some stuff. I want to ask more questions, but I'll take that. Trump's tariffs are killing my stocks. I actually haven't looked at my stocks in a while. But dang, that's sad to hear. But do you think that it will bounce back once people start buying locally again? Because I hear a lot of the money was going overseas. So I think the idea was for them to put tariffs on these other countries so that people will begin to buy locally, which would be awesome, because there's still a lot of mom and pop stores that need love. And sometimes they have the best products, they have the best foods. So, yeah. Like out here, they have a lot of food trucks, man. And if you're not afraid to stop, that's some of the best grub you can have half the time. Oh, wow. They also pay for your CDL. That's good. That's good. I drove a truck for 4 years and paid my school. You don't need a degree if any job, if you're willing to lie to the interviewer and say you're Jewish, get the job. No, no, no. And I don't even know how important degrees are these days. I really don't. I'm not saying don't get a degree. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm saying is I don't know how much these employers are looking at degrees these days. If you're an immigrant, the government basically gives you a free business, but be a citizen and they wouldn't piss on you in the fire. I know, and I don't understand why that is. Yeah, I don't understand why that is. I mean, but what do we do? I laugh when people say the U.S. is a free country when we pay for everything and have less and less rights at time as time. Oh, I know. Day after day, they find ways to take away our rights and stuff. Yeah, but I mean, we do have a lot. I don't want to say that we do have a lot. I'm not saying depopulate. I'm saying stop having babies you can't afford. It's about quality, not quantity. Yeah. Um. Yeah. A lot of education. It seems like we're missing a lot of education surrounding pregnancies. I mean, that's kind of stuff I believe sex ed was in the fourth grade, if I'm not mistaken, and we learned about all this stuff. And now people acting like they don't know how babies are made. And then also, I think we have a big generation of people who are trauma bonding and they're having these babies because they're needing someone to love or they're wanting unconditional love. I mean, there's just so many different things. There's so many different things. People need a lot of love. I'm just gonna say that people need a lot of love, which is crazy because everyone want to have sex but don't want the person they had sex with to have the baby. But if they do have a baby with said person, they never stay with said person. Dumb like, oh, I know it. Have you seen that meme where it's like, I wish we could pick our baby daddies? They were like, who's gonna tell her? Who's gonna tell her that you do get to pick them? But no, I know it's just a. I feel like it's sex has always been casual to a big extent, but again, back then people weren't you weren't trying to come up pregnant though. You might have been sexing, but you were not trying to come up pregnant. No, no, no. It's just it's a different time and it's a different time. These men are stupid. I told them if she'll kill the baby and abort, how can you sleep next to her at night? What the heck is she capable of doing to you if she can kill her offspring? I wholeheartedly agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I don't even know what else to say besides that. Um, you said then why push pregnancy? I, here's the thing. I don't think we should be sleeping around with everybody because of the consequences and whether you call it soul ties or whether babies are being made that you don't want or STDs, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I don't think that you should terminate pregnancy because you know how babies are made. You know? Hey, Edelson, how are you doing this evening? It is good to see you. I hope you had a great week. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's pushing pregnancy. I don't think the stock market is going to pick back up until late summer, fall. Too much has gone downhill recently. This can sometimes be a bad time of the year. Okay. Yeah, I tend to let mine sometimes I invest and this most of the time I just let it grow. Um cuz I'm still kind of learning the stock game, but I know I had some really good investments that I was working with. that were paying out, good money I'm not say good money, but some good change every month. And that mess adds up. But I feel like it always bounces back, but it's just finding out when to do it. When is it going to bounce back? Let's see here. Trades all the way. F degrees. It takes too long to make less money than a trade. Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't know if they're talking to y'all about that now, but back in my day, it wasn't like you knew you could go that route, but people always push college, 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 college. That's really all you heard. You didn't hear about trades too much. You had to really know about them already because they weren't going to teach you about it. And you're right, because you go and get these degrees. Half the time, the degrees don't even work in the real world. I'll just say that. You end up paying all this money. Now you're in student loan debt, all to come out and get a trade anyway. So, yeah. I just wish they educated people more that there were other options. I just heard being an immigrant is cheaper for businesses. Like being pregnant costs more and is less productive. For example, pay someone to stay at home and do nothing. No, sir. Yeah, okay. Um, but what? Okay, cheaper for businesses. Hmm. I guess I still don't see why that is. I guess I still don't see the unless you're just unless you're just paying them less. Yeah, unless you're not planning on paying them the same as everybody else. I don't see how it's different. You say trauma bond. I say this one's too dumb to leave. I mean, listen, people do crazy things when they feel like they're in love. People do crazy things. You said people aren't in control of their lives, just wake up and go to sleep, rinse and repeat. Exactly. And you get into that cycle. That's the sad part about it is you get into that cycle and you want to dream, you want to have dreams and aspirations outside of what you're doing, but you just get caught in the cycle. You run out of time at the end of the day. You forget to plan the next day. You forget to write down goals and different things like that. One of the really big things that helped me um, when I was in business is well, actually, before I even got in business, is we had goal sheets. When I was just a dealer in the sales company, we had goal sheets that we wrote at the beginning of every month. We had our short-term goals that we wanted to hit, and then we had long-term goals that we wanted to hit. And I know it sounds crazy, it sounds real corny, but it is easy to hit your goals when you have them written down or when you have a piece of paper of the picture of the house that you want or the car that you want. They would even tell us, hey, go to the dealership and sit in a car and, you know, because once you feel it and once you see it, you can't live without it. And so you work hard to get it. And so, yeah, we get caught up in just working and, like I said, paying bills. You forget to do all that kind of stuff. But you got to be proactive or else time will just pass you by. Start making plans now. Start thinking about what you want to do now, what you want to accomplish now. And don't wait to start putting it into practice. If I can give you any advice, do not wait. It's crazy the amount of sex that people are having. They need to close their legs and have self-control. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's no more than, what they used to do. But people also were having families and stuff like that too. So imagine stick your penis in a random hole, then saying, "Oh boy, I didn't know how this was going to end." I know, it's crazy. When people say things like that, I'm like, the word conceive means to plan. Like you might not have felt like you did it on purpose, but you did it on purpose. They push college because the money racket is in. Yeah, the money racket it is. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, but just look, did you see that the girl, she is suing the school because she graduated and she's illiterate? Like, they just took that girl's money, let her supposedly pass these classes, and she can't even read. And now she's about to go into the workforce and do what? Heck no. So yeah, they're just taking people's money and indoctrinating them into some weird stuff, and just taking their money. I went to Home Depot to find workers for pennies on the dollar to help with my fence. Sally, that's a myth. No Mexicans were there needing work, but one was selling hot dogs and snow cones. I've never seen them at the Home Depot needing work. But shoot, I don't know. We have a lot of neighborhoods building up out here, and that's who's building these homes. These big, beautiful homes there are the Hispanics. Sure are. So I bet you can go into a neighborhood like that and find workers. But I feel them on the whole hot dog and snow cone thing, because guess what? They also got innovative and started taking their food trucks into these neighborhoods and riding them around. So it's not just ice cream anymore. You can ride around and sell hot dogs and snow cones and stuff. And I've seen it in these neighborhoods. And they go through and they sell it to the workers as they're working on these houses. They sell them lunch and all kinds of stuff. So listen, they're doing it. I ain't hating. I am not hating. But also, I don't know. I think they get paid really good to do these houses, though. Um, no, like maternity leave costs money while you at home taking care of your kid. Yeah, Jose can do your job, and he ain't pregnant, for example. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. You're right. Jose put me out of work when I was a kid mowing lawns. He offered to edge and mow at half my price, so I gave up. No, you got to keep on going. Don't give up. Change your prices. Go to a different neighborhood. I mean, I know you're probably not doing that no more, but I'm just saying for those listening, that's part of business too. Setting the right price. And to be honest, it's really not even about price. To be honest, it's not about price. Because if y'all know, if I haven't said it before, the home care system, or the quote unquote vacuum that I was selling, cost $2,488, $2,500, And do you know those people were buying it like they would go to the store and buy a piece of candy? They were buying it like no problems at all because there was value in it. So as long as people see value, they feel like they're getting a bang for their buck, then they'll pay money. They'll pay money. You don't always have to sell your services for, you know, like you're saying, pennies on the dollar. If you got good work, people can trust you, and yeah, they'll pay for it. Seeing Ye's clone exposing and going crazy on X again. I didn't. So the only thing that I saw was that he was going off on Jay-Z's kids and saying that they were retarded and stuff like that. Now listen, yet Kanye is not the only person that has said this. I've heard for months and pretty much since the twins were born that was the reason why the little boy didn't come out. So yeah, I've seen it. They got to get that under control. I don't know what they're going to do with him. But he said unless Jay-Z helps him with his kids. I didn't understand that part. What does he want? Because I know they got Northwest doing music. Is that what he wants help with? But yeah, that man is out of control. I ain't gonna lie. Or his clone one. She graduated and is illiterate. Yes, she graduated. She's illiterate, and now she's suing. So I don't even know what to do with that. And then there's a lot of people that are admitting to using like the Chat GTP to do stuff. Oh, that's what she was doing. She was using like AI to translate, and that's how she would write her papers. And they found out, yeah, way too late. You guys talk about supposedly Hitler being alive in Colombia in 1955 from the JFK files, or was that fake? I haven't, so I got to get into the JFK files. That's something that I'm probably going to do this week. I was saying earlier that I know Candace Owens had done a deep dive, but I want to get into it myself. But no, is that what they're saying? Okay, so how old? Hold on, let me see. Hitler. Okay, so Hitler was born in 1889. Why would they be trying to convince us that he's still alive today? Oh, he was alive in 1955. Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, I'm tripping. I read that all crazy. Okay, so he would have only been about 66. Mm. What did I say? Hold on. What did I say? So I read a comment way too early, and I don't know what I said to warrant that, but I'll get to it. That's so funny, but I went to high school with a 20-year-old from Africa. He learned to read and write in a year after graduating. He owns a laundromat here and now has 5 kids. See? No excuses. No excuses. She has no reason to not be able to learn to read and write. And she's got people teaching her and all that kind of stuff. Foolishness. I wonder how, because I've been thinking about a laundromat too. I ain't gonna lie. I want to own a laundromat as well. Yeah, Ye ain't say Beyonce and Jay are into sex trafficking, and now they want to press charges or something. Oh, you said yeah, and he said that. Oh, okay. He said they were in sex trafficking, and now they want to press charges. Okay, I didn't hear him say about the sex trafficking. But I did hear him talk about the kids. I don't know. I don't know. Hold on, let me see if I can bring that up. Yeah, I think he's just. I don't know about the. Yeah, the only thing that I see is that he attacked the kids, and that's why they want to sue. I don't know what they're gonna. I don't know what charges they're gonna bring against him. The only thing that I think they would be able to do is defamation, but they would have to prove that the kids aren't special at that point, and then they're going to have to prove that they were harmed in some kind of way in order for them to win that. So I don't know. I don't know how far that's going to go. I doubt it, Elson. There was claims of him escaping back then. It was even investigated, so maybe so. Yeah, no, I gotta really get in there. I didn't see that part. He said, "Yep, dude." Also said the Kardashians run a sex. Okay, I did see that part that they run a sex trafficking ring, and his kids are involved, and their grandmother signed off for there to be a sex tape involving them. Wait a minute. Wait. Wait. The grandmother signed off for the kids to be in a sex tape, or for the Kardashians to be in a sex? What are we talking about? Nope. I don't know what I said. I don't know what I said, but I didn't mean it. If that, I don't know what I said. I'm just talking. Most likely controlled opposition, but still crazy because that's been said multiple times where their celebrities give up their kids for the elite and do whatever with them to stay relevant. Yeah, like I said, he's so all over the place. Like I said, one day he's on their side, the next minute he's on a different side. Oh my goodness. You said why she's suing for being dumb herself. I know, right? I like I said, I don't think that lawsuit can go anywhere. They've insulted Blue Ivy so many times that I guess that don't matter. But why did he just go after their kids like that? He just flipped out. I don't see what them if they are. I don't see what that has to do with anything. If they are mentally challenged, but that's crazy. He said if you search Hitler Adolf 0003 on Google, it will come up the CIA declassified. Don't know much. Just okay. I will definitely check that out. You said I'll save you an hour. JFK was done by Italians. You know what? When I first researched his assassination, that they did mention them. They did mention them. So I think this is something that they've known for a long time. You said, do you know the real reason or reasons JFK was killed and his brother? So like I said earlier, I've heard different reasons. Somebody, I want to say that Dr. Greer right now, that's on DJ Vlad, he's talking about how they were trying to expose the fact that the government is in bed with the aliens, and that was the reason for them getting killed. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm hearing so many different stories that I don't know what to believe. What have you heard? Because that's a doggone shame. You and your brother. That's a shame. Um, JFK got unalived because he was in over his head. And he thought he could do good. He thought he could change the world. You should look into what JFK was trying to do with Israel. Okay. Okay, I'll have to do some researching. Research him cutting off all funding to Israel and making their nuclear program register. It was known they were smuggling the materials. He wanted answers and was going to cut all funding to them. Ah. So that just goes to show that this whole agenda, Israel and Palestine, that whole thing has been going for a long time. Mm-mm. The government contracted the mafia. Yeah, I think that's what I heard. And I don't remember. I just remember that it was a documentary on Netflix. I can't even remember what it's called right now, but man, so sad. She signed off for the kids. I don't know if the tweet's still there. You got to look it up. He probably deleted it by now. Oh my goodness. My whole thing is, I feel like Kanye knew what he was getting himself into when he married into the Kardashian family. I mean, she's doggone near a sex worker herself. And I'm not saying that he would have known that she would have put the kids into it, but that's just nasty. Okay, so it was a tweet. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna try to look that up. Oh wait, that's an old tweet. Wait, what? He's got a lot of tweets about. Okay, so one, this is from 2020. I put my life on the line for my children. That North's mother would never sell her sex rape. I think he meant tape, but that stuff's not new. I put my life on my God that North's mom would never photograph her doing Playboy, and that's on God. I'm at the ranch. Come and get me. Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about, but no, I'll have to try to find those new tweets then because this is weird. Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. They admitted killing his brother because he was getting close to proving Israelis' involvement with the mob to kill him. Oh, that's got to be some scary stuff, to be honest. The guard that shot the brother owed the mob for gambling, and they got him hired as security years before. This was a plan years in the making, not some lone shooter crap. Okay, so this wasn't about uncovering government secrets. This is about a gambling debt. Mm. Edison, I'm not a fan of Ryan Dawson, but he's done extensive work on the matter if you want to look there first. Just like 9/11 always comes back to Israel meddling in our affairs. I mean, was it them though? Because from my knowledge, the what would you call them? I don't know what you would call them, the pilots or whatever, the planes that hit the towers, they were trained at the school right up the street from my school here on American soil in Louisiana. So I don't know if I don't think it was them. I think it was us disguised as them. I'll just say that. I think it was us disguised as them. The mafia, the CIA, and Israel all had their reasons to kill JFK, and them colluding has already been proven. Yeah, that's just so sad. NLE Choppa said the moon landing is fake, spoke about the firmament, and said he believes UFOs come from the ocean. Surprised they let him speak. Where was this at? I didn't know he was speaking on such things. Wow. Was this all in one setting? Hold on. Moon landing, fake. Yeah, I want to hear him speak. I've never heard him. I mean, where's the lie? Where's the lie? Because who was on that a long, long time ago? Remember B.O.B.? I don't even know if he still makes music now, but this man created like 4 mixtapes talking about it. And one of the mixtapes is called The Dome. When I tell you I sat around one night and literally binge listened to all his mixtapes just to see what kind of information he had. So people know. But no, I am surprised to let him speak. Um, I feel like they're letting people speak freely about the firmament and the UFOs at least, but not too many people believe the moon landing was fake. Let's see. The way Kanye's new wife dresses, it doesn't leave much to the imagination, literally. I know. I think she's some type of, but Amber Rose is actually on, she had done an interview recently on Club Shay Shay, and she was talking about how Kanye likes his women to dress close to nothing because he wants other men to want his woman, and how he did the same thing to her. She would have to show up on all these red carpets pretty much naked, and she hated it. So yeah, I think he is forcing his wives or whom he's dating to do this kind of stuff, which is weird. I don't understand why you would want that, but not my husband, not my wife. They said the Middle Eastern guy shot the brother, but his revolver couldn't hold the amount of rounds that were fired, and witnesses claimed hearing 14 to 17 shots. My goodness. Didn't he shoot? Wait, didn't Bobby get shot in a I thought he got shot in a crowd. I'm not saying that you can't bust off 14 to 17 shots in a crowd, but I don't remember anybody else getting hit or nothing like that. So, mm. um, you said if you haven't, would you do a video on the education system like Rockefeller? You mean when you say yes, The answer to that is yes, but what exactly you mean? You mean you want a video on what the Rockefellers have implemented into the education system? No. Oh, I thought you saw something. The interview where the famous Australian journalist says say the security guard shoot the brother after the Middle Eastern guy was on the ground. It's hard to find, but it's out there. Okay, I'll have to find all this stuff. I'm taking them, taking notes. Okay, yeah, I'll have to find that. You said breaking news: Choppa NLE. Oh, sorry, NLE Choppa dies from suicide. He had 3 bullet holes in his head. You can't speak truth. Yeah. Um, I think they let them speak a little bit, but if they feel like people are starting to listen, yeah, they'll definitely take him out. But if people are thinking he's a joke, then they'll let him talk. Just like they're letting Kanye do. They're just letting Kanye talk because they know that most people don't believe what he's saying. Is space water? I would like to believe so. I would like to believe so because, again, the Bible says that the firmament was created to divide the waters that were above the firmament from the waters that were below the firmament, and that there's a ocean of water up there that is able to pour out when the fountains of heaven are I'm sorry, when the windows of heaven are open. And then if you look in again, I'm just kind of just thinking through this. When the sun is shining, you see the sky just being blue, right? But then as you see the sun start to set, then that's when you start seeing all the different colors in the sky. And I often think that that's part of the water reflecting off the dome. We're starting to see different colors. The light is reflecting in different ways. We're seeing different colors. And then at night, because I remember seeing, I have to find the scripture. I haven't been able to find it since I read it, but it said something about the darkness being dark water. And I was like, you know what, that makes sense. Because at night, everything just looks pitch black. But if there's no light, then of course the water looks dark. And then when you think about the composition of what they say oxygen is, it has water in it. It's just more of a vapor. So I think so, but I don't want to say definitively yes. But the way that it's described in the Bible and stuff, and what we know from science, yeah, I believe it's water. I'm trying to think of. I want to say I've seen some scientific experiments where it shows it when it's showing the movement of the stars in the firmament, it makes it seem like there's water there, like stars are moving through water. I'll have to find the video, but yeah, I would say so. NLE Choppa isn't a real threat. That is a ghetto baby who raps to the lower level hip hop fans. He holds no real power or weight, hence why he's been homoerotic to salvage his failing career. See, I don't even know this man. I don't know. I don't even know. I probably know an NLE Choppa song, but don't know it's him. I don't listen to nothing he got going on. Oh, Walk Him Down. Okay, I know Walk Him Down, but that's it. That's it. A channel called Profit Muscle uploaded the NLE video. I used to listen to B.O.B. all the time. I remember when Neil deGrasse Tyson dissed him for saying Earth is flat. Yeah, I remember that too. Okay, so I ran across Profit Muscle often. Not I would say often, but it has come up on my feed. But I don't know. It just feels like their videos are. I don't. How do I want to say it? Clickbait. It's a lot of clickbait stuff. So I'm gonna go to them and see if I can find that video. But most of the time, I just skip past them because it feels like they're just making up stuff to post videos on. But yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson, to me, I think he used to come off as real smart, but now it just feels like he don't know nothing about science. Even though he's a scientist, it doesn't feel like he knows anything about science. Oh, okay, Cam the King. Okay, so you said numerous other people were injured in the shooting. Okay, I wasn't sure. You said implemented. That's funny. They own it. Yeah. Ryan Dawson provides receipts for everything I've said, but I don't buy into a lot of his crap. I just like the way he provides extensive evidence and sources, which when he makes a claim. I'll have to check out this Ryan Dawson person. I've never heard of him, so I will check him out as well. Have you seen the ancient drawings depicting water as space and showing portals in the water to access such? Yeah, I've seen a lot of, I think, if I'm not mistaken, every culture, or at least majority of the cultures, all show us as if we're in some kind of an egg. And they might not necessarily really mean an egg, but they always have the dome. They always have the lower part of like shield and stuff, but they always have water surrounding us on all around though. So yeah, I have seen it. The portals thing I didn't understand though. I didn't understand that part, because I know they say if you go deep enough to the bottom of the ocean, then there's a portal, and that way you can get out into space, but I really don't know how that works. And then are you saying that we can be outside the dome? And if you're outside of the dome, then like I don't know. There's some things I need to work out with that whole theory. But yes, I have seen them. Lots of stuff to reconcile. Yeah, what the Rockefellers have done, extra things, maybe like the same Maxwell's dad having influence a major textbook company, Science Research McGraw-Hill, but Google says that's not true. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely look into it. Yeah, I'll definitely look into it. I can probably pull a lot of stuff from I don't know why that man's name is slipping my mind. I have already told you guys about him. Kent Hovind. I can probably pull a lot of things from him. He's done a lot of research on the lies in the textbooks. But yeah. Have you seen the unredacted form of the video of the TikTok? Oh, the Tic Tac. The unredacted video shows it traveling underwater at Mach 3 plus, then emerges from the water and takes to the sky. No, I haven't seen that. Okay, I will look that up as well. They claim that the portals are in the water and then you can get outside the dome. Okay, so yeah, that's what I want to know. But again, what is outside? I'm just trying to reconcile that with what has already been spoken. because we're supposed to be suspended upon nothing. So how then can we say that we can get out into the atmosphere and then do what? I don't understand what I just don't understand. There's bases that are under the ocean in the bedrock that go out 100 plus miles from the beach. They've been working on a new one since like 2015. They say they can drill 10 feet a day. I mean, I want to see it. I know they do this. I know they do that. But when they supposedly get outside of the dome, that's what I want to see. And I want them to tell us what they feel like is out there. Because when Admiral Byrd and them went to Antarctica and they were doing that and they saw the different lands outside of the dome, number one, they couldn't get there. And number two, they didn't say there was water out there. So I don't know. It's just hard to put together all this information that they come out with. Remember in the Bible where it talks about God looking down at what's going on the earth makes sense. It's water because then it would be like be a looking glass he can look down onto the earth from. Exactly. And it says it's a molten looking glass. So we know that much. And again, I think it all makes sense, especially when you think about the shape of rainbows, how they're in an arch. And if the sun is reflecting off the dome, it would create an arch when water particles are there. You would be able to see the rainbow. Obviously, the different operations that the government has done, sending rockets into space or trying to, and them always breaking apart at the same points in the sky and never being able to get so far before, it breaks apart and crumples down to the earth. I mean, there's just so many different things. But yeah, you're right. And then it would make sense, the dark water and the blue water, it would all make sense. How do digital media companies make money? I'd love to launch a Christian-based digital media company, but shoot, I want to make it financially successful yet biblical also. That's a great question. That's a great question. Because I'm trying to think about how like music works in publishing, but I don't really know who pays. That's something that we'll have to look up. Yeah, that's something that we'll have to look up. Because I'm thinking about stuff like, you mean like because even like Tubi, I know I talk about Tubi all the time, but in my mind, I'm like, how the heck do you guys make money? I know that they show ads, so they have people paying for commercial spots, and that would make sense. So I know some of it's going to come from sponsorships and advertising. But I don't know. Hey, good question. We'll have to find that out. There might be some other people that want to start media companies and need the information. I personally don't think the Father would let a simple man violate that border. I don't know if that's talking about Kanye or what. When you see the videos in space shuttles, what do you think? You feel like it's fake and performative? Yes. Yes, I do. Just because Man, I've seen so many different ones. I'm trying to think of the particular things I've seen in the videos, but just the science doesn't add up. Yeah, just the science doesn't add up. The things that they show in the videos, and I have to pinpoint some stuff. But yeah, no, I don't. The only thing that I have a problem figuring out though is they're sending these shuttles into space. They're at least launching them, but where are they going? That's what I don't understand. Because didn't like two astronauts just come back from being stuck in space for like 7 or 9 months or something crazy like that? Like where were they at? Were they just circling? I just don't. I have questions. Yeah, but I'll have to find some videos though to show you what I'm talking about in those space shuttles because it's gonna hard to explain just talking about it. But yeah, I've seen some weird stuff that is like, no, if you were in space, that wouldn't happen. Operation Fishbowl is interesting. They say they can gather miles worth of paper data from those events. They're still reviewing it to this day. Okay. I say, sure you are. Sure, they're still reviewing it. I don't know. Those astronauts get real shaky when they get pressed about going to the moon. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Stanley Kubrick lost his life after what he revealed about the moon landings and told everybody how he made it in the studio and this and that. So, God looks down, sees the U.S. creating AIDS in a lab. Nah, they tripping. Yeah. He knew what was going to happen, though. He knew what was going to happen. I knew controlled opposition was a real thing when I heard Nature of the Threat by Ross Kaz. That song would have had his ass taken out if he released it now. I'm going to have to listen to that. To be honest, I only know him because Teacher Moses, who is a R&B singer, has twins by him. So I just know that he's a rapper because of that. I don't know any of his music, but I'll definitely have to check that out. I think the Challenger was faked. What a way to get people to start wanting to go to space and buy the lie there's no firmament. That and just the fact that they have these pictures of these people now living totally different lives, looking exactly like they used to look, sounding exactly like they used to sound, having the same exact name as they used to have, but they're supposed to be dead. I think that's one of the weirdest things that I've seen about the whole moon landing. Besides them being out in space, not a star in sight. The wind is blowing the flags as if there's oxygen. It's just weird. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things I can't reconcile about that because Hidden Figures is one of my favorite movies, but I'm like, man, why were y'all calculating trajectories if you weren't really sending people to space? But they can lie about so much. Why did they always fly at an arc? Good question. Good question. Maybe they're just chilling in the miles of the atmosphere we got. That's what I'm thinking. Like, what were y'all doing? What? And when they interview them, I want to know. I want them to ask questions like, okay, what were y'all doing? Were y'all just circling there? Like, but they're not going to. I don't think they're going to ask them questions. If the government doesn't forget when you don't pay taxes, do you really think they lost the tech to go back to the moon? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. As much as as much as they've documented. There's no way. One of the greatest scientific feats in history. No, no, you didn't lose none of that stuff. He made good music. He broke down the history of white people and spoke on the real meaning of Thanksgiving, the school system, etc. in that song. Dang, he's definitely a Mason though. Oh, dang. Okay, I'm gonna listen to it tonight. I've been thinking that I've always been the thinking curious type. But one homeless guy put me on game when I was young. He told me, "Don't shit where you eat." I still think about it to this day. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Kind of like Absol, a smart, controlled rapper who exposes the government. Oh, okay. That's what I'm saying. It's weird the ones that they let do it. But again, I think that it's because some people they don't expect people to listen to, or they don't have a big following, so they just let it go. You don't think these space companies have anything to do with breakaway civilizations? Um, Not so much. I can't say that I do because I think that Earth was made to have life on it. And I don't see us, quote unquote, breaking away to have civilization anywhere else. I just don't. Yeah, I don't see it. God is a gangster. Nope. But let me put it on right now. Oh, heck no, it's a 7 minute song. Okay, for sure, for sure. I will look at it tonight when I get off this line. I see them saying that they already are planning on him doing something with the Olympics. They got plans for Kendrick. They have plans for this man. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that one when we get off live. Okay, y'all, last few comments. Speaking of Masons, have you ever seen the pictures of high-ranking gang members pictured with Masons and lodges? Sounds like a sus relationship. Um, I have seen it, and I'm not surprised because again, all these organizations are built exactly the same, and they might call themselves something different. They might do a different handshake here and there, might wear different colors, all that kind of stuff, but it's all the same thing. They do rituals and all that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff. Oh, you said not we per se, but them. Yeah, I don't see I don't see where they would go. I think they can build their houses in the rocks and stuff all they want to in the mountains, but I don't see them going into space and building any other type of civilizations. But we'll see. Elon was probably moonwalking on the Mars in a couple days while somehow rediscovering the tech to break the Van Allen belt. No, it's good. Yeah, I just don't think that they're going to be able to do any of that. They claim that, yeah, they're not going to be able to do any of that. Mars is not hospitable for life. And so I think they want to, but they're not going to be able to. I get it's not common lodges, but still crazy how a simple 10-minute drive you can run across a Mason lodge. Nobody really gives a damn though. I know I started to take a picture of this one for y'all the other day. I ran past it. I don't even think I've ever been on this street before, but it was covered. The front of the Mason lodge, it had a sign outside, but the front of the building was covered in trees and bushes. So you couldn't see into any of the windows and stuff unless you actually get on the property and go up to the window and look in. But other than that, it was blocked off. So I don't know what they got going on up there, but for sure they didn't want anybody to see. You said I'd be okay with certain people leaving Earth. Yes, go to Mars. Yeah. I mean, if they could, but I think the most that they're going to be able to do is go deep, deep underground, like they've been doing. You said there's like 10 Mason lodges in my area. Yeah, I'm seeing more and more of them now. I'm like, man, I did not know, that they were out here, but they sure are. They sure are. But they have to. There's so many of them, and they have to man so many different industries and organizations and stuff. There has to be a lot of them. He said America and the world got like 15 years left, my guess. Let's see if 15, excuse me. Because I feel like, don't they have things planned up until at least 2050 or whatever? But yeah, you never know. I think they have a long-term plan, but you never know when it's all going to come to a head. You said this is the perfect time for the Antichrist to pop out. I don't think so. We're falling away, but we're not that far gone yet. There's still a lot. There's still a lot of good in the world. I mean, it's going downhill fast for sure. But I think they have a lot more to implement before that happens. But 15 years could be the time, but I don't know. We don't know. But yeah, y'all. Okay. So what we have on the docket, no, I'm just playing. So I lost my train of thought. Hollow Earth, got that coming up. I don't think that's going to be a long video. It doesn't seem like it. So I'm going to try my best to get that out this week on YouTube. I think I'm going to have a panel come up soon, but it'll just be a topic, and then I'll have people come up and you can speak about it, and we'll see how that goes. I said I was going to look into trucking companies so we can get some more information on that for those who might want to think about starting a trucking company or even just working for a trucking company because, again, they're making buku money out there. Digital media company, we're going to look into that and see how they make money. I have to watch the Kendrick Lamar video because I didn't watch it last week. So I will be watching that when we get off live. Other than that, I think that's pretty much. Oh yeah, I'm gonna test out this travel business and see what that's hitting on, and if that has good information, if that's good money making, I will relay that information to who can't talk tonight, whomever wants that, because I know we're just looking at ways to get our money up and not flounder in this economy. Let's see here. Yep. You said, wait, give you a proper reason why it wouldn't be the perfect time. People don't know God. Christianity is completely lost and gone. And now we got Christians saying they don't need to repent anymore. I think all that's occurring and I think it's all bad. I just don't know if it's so many to bring on the Antichrist yet. I don't think it's the conditions to bring on the Antichrist, especially because they haven't fully implemented the mark of the beast yet. So we have time. According to the timeline, we still have some time. But I agree, it's coming to a head for sure. You said Auntie must be running some pork chops. I love pork chops, but yeah, I love pork chops. I wish though. I don't even know what I'm gonna do for dinner. It's gonna be late. And it sounds like it's about to pour down rain out here. But no, that pork chops do sound good, Edelson. It does sound good. Society is doomed, but they're not at a breaking point yet. There's still hope for people. We not at rock bottom yet. Yeah, not yet. Not yet. But time's running out. That's why we're trying to warn as many people as possible. But yeah. You said, what if the mark of the beast is a spiritual one, at which is preemptive in decision for salvation rather than a direct question? Well, because, and again, I'm just, this part is my opinion, because scripture says that the mark of the beast is going to be where we can't buy or sell unless we have it. And so we haven't seen that part yet. I think it's going to be both spiritual and physical. I think it's going to be one where you are denying Christ. And so it's definitely spiritual and, as far as your walk in life, but I also think it's going to be a physical mark of the beast as well, where they're going to be able to track it and say who, and be able to pinpoint, okay, you don't have this, so you can't buy or sell. So yeah, I think it's going to be both. And when they break the dimensions, the spiritual marking will be shown in the physical. Again, I think I'm probably saying the same thing you are. It's going to definitely be a spiritual thing that breaks through to the physical. Yes. Yeah. It's coming though, unfortunately. It's coming. I freaked out when them debit cards with the chip came out. I thought, chip in the right hand, here we go. And you might not be too far off, because now it's to the point where, well, no, I haven't seen it too much anymore, but remember there was a point, especially during the pandemic, where they were like, we're not taking any cash, we're not taking any change. You specifically had to use a debit card. I thought that was like, dang, here we go. We right here on the cusp. So I think it's going to be part of it for sure. But they haven't implemented the part where, okay, if you ain't got it, you can't participate. Except for that part, I just don't know if that part if it's going to be too late. I don't know, y'all. I mean, they tried it with COVID passports and stuff. Yeah, which I haven't heard anything else about, and hopefully they don't bring it up because it won't be me. The way cashless is being pushed, the card might as well be the mark, especially with things like credit scores. Yeah, but again, if when you physically have companies putting marks in people's hands and in their forehead in order to scan in and get to work, I mean, yeah, once again, they're gonna take it and make it a physical thing. Cam the King said, "I'm ready. I've grown tired of this s hole we call Earth." Yeah, I understand. I understand. I think I just try to. I don't know. Yeah, I see things that I read online, obviously, because we talk about it. But for the most part, I just try to stay away from as much foolishness as possible. Like we all got our own stuff with us, right? We're not sinless beings, but I try to stay away from as much mess as possible, as much as I can. And like I said earlier, don't be anxious, don't be stressing out, don't be worried. All that stuff makes you sick, makes you tired. Um, and just trying to get around as much like-minded people as possible. That's why I like talking to y'all. I talk to my friends, obviously I talk to my family, talk to my husband, just being around people that because like you said, we are living in degenerate times, very, very degenerate times. And I get into arguments with people all the time on the internet. And I'm like, man, you're far gone. You're way far gone. But then I realize, everybody's not like that. Everybody's not low down and in a down and out place. So surround yourself with like-minded people or people who are at where you want to be. Have faith. Help as many people as you can. Yeah, that's all we can do. I used to work at a place where they scan your face for signing in and out. It felt super dystopian. Everyone else was trying to get a paycheck and leave. They couldn't care less. See, yeah. And that's what's gonna happen. And that's why you gotta stay vigilant because they fill our heads with so much other stuff, you know. They give us everything else to worry about. But we forget to get our spiritual house in order. We forget that things like this are coming, like the mark of the beast, and we just start doing what we want to do, and we don't want to get caught up, y'all. We do not want to get caught up. So, yeah. When will they trigger the backdoor code in those who took the vac? I don't know. I don't know. They might be trying to get this next pandemic in place first, so you just never know. But we'll keep each other informed. That's what we're here to do, keep each other informed, give us ways to keep out of the mess as much as possible. That's all we can do until the end of time. Said I'm vax free. Good. Good. All right, y'all. It's about to throw down out here where I'm at. So I hope you guys are safe inside, good weather. Um, so yeah, a good talk. I think everybody that came out tonight, who comes out, whether you say something or not, I really appreciate it. I know. Y'all gonna get on me if I don't see it. I'm being here scared, shaking in my boots. Okay, y'all. I have until next Sunday to watch Substance and blink twice. Yes, yes. Okay, so yeah, yeah. Okay, so we'll touch base. I won't let the bed bugs bite, Edelson. I appreciate that. Y'all have a good night. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you again. Bye now. Okay, see you next week.